All right, let's move on here because we have a very special guest today, guys. Our good friend Denny Carter is joining us for the show.
That's a liberal use of the word.
For liberal use. Hey, Denny.
It's a liberal use of the word good. It's candidly a little bit of a liberal use of the word friend, colleague.
Denny, don't take it personally. He's grouchy today about the Musgrave injury.
Yeah.
At the happy hour.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for not wearing the cardigan.
I didn't dress up. I'm trying to act like I'm at a bar. I'm wearing a t-shirt,
A Roto-World t-shirt.
Yeah, you should be holding a beer. Yeah, let's get Denny a 6-pack of Bud Light. Let's send him that.
I have a seltzer.
Okay, fair enough. All right,
want me to take it away here? Yeah. Now that
I don't know what we're supposed to ask him. I just wanted to make.
Now that you ran the happy hour train right over Denny as he joins the show, Denny is joining us.
He's part of the
family. He writes the regression files every single week. Players who are overproducing or underproducing based on their workload, playing time, and opportunity. Denny, let's start on a positive note. Since Barry did not, we will jump right into Tony Pollard, who you see positive regression for going into this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, look. He's been fine for fantasy over the first 3 weeks, but it could be so much more. And I think when that opportunity meets his talent going forward, we're going to have huge blow-up weeks. I actually like him to have sort of a blow-up week this week against the Patriots. Tony Pollard, 24 rushes inside the 20. That leads the league by 11. Okay, Dave Montgomery actually crept up on him last night, but I mean, headed into week 4, that led by 11. So Pollard is seeing enormous workloads, great opportunity inside the 10. That's what we want. Again, you're not disappointed, but you want a little more. I think you're going to get a little more from Pollard in the coming weeks.
I think we might be kind of at the point where the Cowboys might want to hide Dak Prescott a little bit, just with how he's played the first 3 weeks of the season. And his stats don't look as bad, but he threw that pick to Sauce Gardner that Sauce dropped in week 2, missed CD Lamb wide open in week 1. He just didn't play great in week 1, didn't need to, and then was kind of terrible last week. And this is a team, I think, that they want to run the ball, not unlike Detroit's offense.
Fantasy success very simply comes from talent and opportunity. We all know and agree on Tony Pollard's talent, and the opportunity has been there. He's the only player in the NFL with 25 or more red zone touches this year. He's had 15 carries inside the 10-yard line through 3 games, which is 3 more than he had all of last season as well. So he just hasn't been, he's just gotten unlucky with some of that. So to Denny's point, 100%, it's coming. Again, this is a guy that has number 1 running back in fantasy upside. That's within the range of outcomes here for Tony Pollard. So certainly, if somebody in your league is willing to give him up for less than a top 5 running back price, pounce, because it's coming.
Denny, how about another one here in Josh Downs, the rookie wide receiver for the Colts, rookie slot wide receiver, coming off a season-high 12 targets last week. He's got the Rams on deck this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Downs is that the Colts didn't really change the way they operate when Minshew was in. I know that sounds a little funny because Minshew is not Anthony Richardson, some would say. But, as far as pass rate, rush rate, it all stayed stable. So I think that Josh Downs is here to stay as, a PPR wide receiver 2, maybe low end, kind of a PPR scam, as my colleague Pat Doherty would say. And I totally agree with that. And I love a PPR scam. Okay. You can accuse me of that because I do enjoy a scammy player like Downs. Hopefully the touchdowns, present itself for Downs going forward. Not really a red zone threat so far, but this team doesn't have a solid red zone pass catcher. Not even Michael Pittman is seeing those sort of opportunities. So I think that the route rate is there, the targets are there, and this Colts defense stinks, which means the offense is going to have to keep their foot on the gas throughout these games.
Yeah, Jay, we haven't seen much from Alec Pierce in this passing offense either. They're not really utilizing the tight ends a ton. Downs, nice summer for him, a true slot. He's not going anywhere. He literally lives in the slot. 75% of his targets have come from there. I do see the positive direction going for him.
Yeah, I like that you said he literally lives in the slot.
Yeah.
His residence is
drinks his coffee there.
in Casa del Slot. Josh Downs, his receptions prop on DraftKings is 3.5. Alec Pierce is 2.5, back to the under. He is the clear number 2 guy, and there is upside scope there for a team that they've had leads lately as well, so they haven't needed to throw, particularly in that game in week 2 against the Texans. So as Anthony Richardson gets more up to speed, if they do have to throw more, I think clearly Pittman's the number 1 guy, but then Downs too, and then Pierce are kind of distant throw.
He's been impressive, and I think more importantly, I think the Colts as a passing offense are more competent than we thought. They're passing more than we thought they were, whether it's Richardson or Minshew. And so we like Don's talent. So I really like the call here by Denny, because he's not somebody we talked about him a little bit earlier in the week, but he's not somebody that's getting, a ton of buzz out there in fantasy circles. There's other rookie wide receivers that everyone's, the Rashee Rices of the world, the Marvin Mims, the Quentin Johnstons of the world, but especially in PPR leagues, I like the call here on Josh Downs, Denny.
Yep, and Steichen's a good coach, and the offensive line is playing better than it did last year.
He also has a great matchup this week against a Rams team that has been targeted relentlessly in the slot. So I think that it could be another double-digit target day for Downs.
Denny, let's look on the negative regression side of things. This player in Jerome Ford was the waiver wire darling not that long ago, but you see a tough week ahead against Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, really tough matchup. The fact that he had to play the Titans and now the Ravens is really unfortunate for folks who picked him up and said, hey, I have the Browns' new RB1. And you do, but Kareem Hunt ate into, I think, Ford's workload a little more than we would like to see. I know Hunt is dealing with multiple injuries now. Tough week back for the old veteran Hunt. But if Hunt plays this week, you can expect him to split the pass-catching workload with Ford. And Ford has really struggled outside of that long run. If you guys remember, he had against the Steelers, 70-yard run down to the goal line. Besides that, he's averaging, you take that out, and I hate to do that. I hate to be the guy who says, if you take the big play out, he hasn't been good. I'm going to go ahead and do that. He's averaging less than 2 yards a carry if you take that out. So it has been tough sledding. I don't know if you're going to get that upside from Jerome Ford going forward. Now, last week was fine. You got 2 touchdowns, but that sort of painted over an otherwise ordinary outing for Ford.
Yep, and with Ford as well, one of the best things that he had going for him was that the Browns were 2.5, almost 3-point favorites against the Ravens. That's already down to pick now on DraftKings since we started the show.
Yeah, it's because Deshaun Watson, he'll probably be officially listed as questionable, but it's trending down.
And the total has dropped 2.5 points, so probably less opportunity for touchdowns for Jerome Ford.
Denny, you said that, with Ford, you take the big play out and it looks a little different. If you take the big play out from Marvin Mims, you wouldn't think he exists. Basically, the only thing Marvin Mims does is make big plays because he's running, 9 routes per game at this point. You see Mims has Chicago on deck, which is good, but the usage or lack thereof of Mims has been questionable.
You have to sort of have faith in Sean Payton, and I don't know how easy that will be for fantasy managers right now. You have to have faith in Payton that he will get Mims on the field more. Mims is very clearly their best receiver. Cortland Sutton right now is their official wide receiver 1 when you look at air yards and targets and everything. But Mims could be that guy. So projecting forward, you have to believe that he just forces his way onto the field. Through 3 games, guys, Mims is 8th in pass routes among pass catchers for Denver. 8th, okay? Now, we saw a little bit of an uptick in playing time against the Dolphins. He had a long kick return. He had a long reception. These things, they can't continue unless he gets more playing time, unless he gets more opportunity. We just have to hope for that. As it is now, he's going to regress big time, probably starting this week.
Jay, we love the talent of Mims. So the problem is he's just not on the field enough in an offense that it's been better, but that's not saying a whole lot this year.
Yeah, I don't think with the season sliding away that Sean Payton is really going to trust the rookie wide receiver either, because there were 2 established guys already in Sutton and Judy, and I think disrupting that kind of duopoly is going to be pretty tough for Mims.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. Make sure, of course, to head over.
Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims.
Yeah, you keep on saying that around the halls of NBC.
Analysis.
Yes,
Listen,
you walk in screaming it every day.
Yeah, you know what? And by the way, I'll make it happen at some point. I'm going to make shirts and bumper stickers and maybe shot glasses as well.
Right. Be sure to head over.
He's the fastest guy in the field. You got to get him the ball.
And they took him early for that reason, but just not playing enough. Be sure.
Is there a question?
No, there's a statement, but
question?
I can't get it out. So goodbye, Denny.
Next
no, I'm
question.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. Be sure to head over to the NFL and NBC YouTube channel right after happy hour at 1 p.m. to catch Denny's live Q&A. Denny, you're a good friend of the show. Thanks so much for joining
Yeah.
us.
I want
Thank
everyone
you,
to make
Connor.
sure. Yeah, I want everyone to ask Denny about his wardrobe, about his haircut.
Yep.
Ask Denny who he likes the most on the show here, who he likes the least.
Right now it's-
Matthew should be third.
Right now, I don't know if it's you, Matthew. I don't know.
Yeah, you're trending downward like Marvin Mims.
I'm definitely at plus money to win that one. There's no question about that. All right, Denny. Hey, we'll see you soon. Thanks, brother.
Thanks,
guys.
Denny.
See you,
Later,
Denny.
man.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.